Hey guys, it's Fight On 2016. I just wanted to welcome you guys back to my videos. Today I'm talking about college football week 0. I kind of wanted to start off with kind of a brief daily fantasy sports perspective of the two games, which will jump into kind of my favorite game betting wise that I think that we should all grab now because I think it's gonna move in the next 2 weeks. So if you are not a member of Beat the Bookie, this is kind of what you would see in terms of our college football model. And so the first two games here are the other two games for week 0. And so on the left side here, you kind of have what my model is predicting. And then here's what Vegas has in terms of expected points, spread, and total. So obviously the first thing to jump out is if you're probably playing week 0, most of your players are going to come from the Hawaii-Arizona game. And the reason why is because the Vegas total is at 70 points. So Vegas says that the most likely scenario is that these teams are going to score 70 points. So you have Arizona projected to score 40 points and Hawaii projected to score 29 points. And that's a lot. Those are both bigger than even the highest of the Florida game at Florida 28.5. Now it's going to be a lot of chalk in the Hawaii-Arizona game. But that is where we should probably put a lot of our trust in that Miami and Florida are much stronger offenses. Hawaii and Arizona have horrible defenses. I mean, Miami and Florida have good defenses, not as great offenses. Arizona, Hawaii, great offenses, not as good as defenses. So I have a ton of points coming in Hawaii, Arizona, not as many Miami. So make sure to stack Hawaii, Arizona. Which leads me to my top play on the board, which is actually Hawaii. So I have Hawaii predicted as a 7-point underdog. Vegas currently has them as an 11-point underdog. I see that coming down to even 10 by kickoff. So make sure to grab it now. And I'll kind of go into why I think it's a good play. But I guess before I do that, I kind of want to kind of explain this points difference column. Because this points difference column is the big deal in terms of DFS. And so when we have larger slates, you're going to have bigger differences. But when I see like a -3 or -4, my model is projecting that the team is going to score 4 less points than Vegas. And I believe that people make DFS lineups based off of what they expect, what Vegas expects a team to score. So even though I have Arizona scoring 37 points, I'll have less ownership than Vegas. And I'll have a little more exposure to Hawaii than Vegas. And I'll have some more Florida, but I'll probably be fading Miami overall. So that's kind of how I would use this column for DFS perspective. If you're not a Beat the Bookie subscriber, go to dfsarmy.com/beatthebookie. Beat the bookie and sign up to kind of get this, and as well as videos like this or other content I'll put out as we get closer to week 1 games. Yep, so I'll kind of jump in now into the Hawaii-Arizona game, kind of give you a breakdown. So this is a great spreadsheet. If you want this spreadsheet, whether DFS side or Beat the Bookie side, I'll send you the link. Bill Walsh is an extraordinary person in the advanced analytics of college football space. He puts this together and kind of gives it out to free reins, where he kind of gives you the scores and he kind of breaks down every advanced statistic you could ever want. So if you want this, I'm happy to send it to you. This is kind of what a lot of my analysis comes off of. So I want to start with Arizona. So Arizona has Kevin Sumlin returning for his second year as head coach. They have Khalil Tate coming back at quarterback, who will be a senior now. J.J. Taylor, who is an electric running back, will be coming back as a junior. They have pretty much a strong depth there. They have Brightwell back as well. Darius Smith was a freshman. He's coming back. And then Khalil Tate, obviously, being a quarterback who is supposed to run, we'll get into that more later, is also a runner. The one big weakness that they have on their offense is that their top 3 wide receivers all are gone. So Shun Brown, Sean Poindexter and Tony Ellison are all gone. They're all seniors, and that had about 70% of the total targets. And, they really got rid of probably Sean Brown, who's one of the best at a 74% catch rate. Basically, anything that hit his hands, he was a true safety person for Khalil. Without him, it's going to be a real struggle to move the ball. Their top wide receiver coming back only had 18 catches and 35 targets of Cedric Peterson, which is a big red flag from the first thing, because the number one predictive measure of continuity between seasons is wide receiver production, which might not make sense. You might think quarterbacks or total offense. No, it's really because the wide receivers play such a large role in being able to move the chains. So if your wide receiver is coming back, you're probably going to improve. But if they don't, you're either going to stay where you are or go down. And so on defense, they return a lot of people. So their top 3 players, their top 2 linebackers or sophomores are coming back for their junior seasons. This is one of the top defensive units in the entire country in terms of linebacker corps. Their line really sucks, and we'll get into that later. And their secondary is okay. And then kind of going down here, they play at one of the highest paces. As you can think, Khalil Tate and J.J. Taylor both want to run the ball, both want to get to the line fast. They play no huddle. They get to the line and they run their plays. And so I guess to kind of start off, so Khalil Tate at quarterback is just a conundrum of a human being right now. So in 2017, he was this amazing, everyone wanted him on his fantasy team player. He had 1.4 pass attempts to every carry that he had. So he would run the ball 20 times, throw the ball 30 times. Truly an electric guy. And then in 2018, no one really knows what happened. That ratio went from 1.4 to 1 to 5 to 1. So he'd go from 30, now he's throwing a ball 30 times and running 5, which is crazy. He's a very fast guy. He's a Lamar Jackson type player where he can juke people out, get past people. But I think what happened was in 2017, he got hurt because of his running, and he didn't want what happened to RG3 to happen to him. He wanted to kind of keep control of his body, run only when he needed to, and try to preserve as much as he can. The problem was that he actually got hurt mid-season 2018 to a same ankle injury that he sustained in 2017. And he wasn't running the ball as much. And so what's going to happen in 2019 is a big conundrum. Because is he going to resort back to the 2017 ways of just being this dominant player who runs and throws and really causes defenses to panic? Or is he going to stay in his 2018 ways and try to throw the ball, be more of a pocket passer, which won't go in his favor? And so I think the first series that Arizona has is going to tell a lot. Because without their top 3 wide receivers, the wide receivers are really going to struggle in this game. And J.J. Taylor is a great running back, but he's more of a system back, in my opinion. As you can see below, J.J. Taylor, one of the most things I like to look at is its marginal efficiency. So how efficient were they with the carries they were given? And seeing any number that's negative is not a good thing. And so the fact that it was negative 1% means that he really was just more of a volume rusher. So he'd rush the ball 20 times a game. He'd get 100 yards. It would look great on paper, but what is 20 for 100? You want to see 10 for 100. You want to see those massive yards per carry, big bursts, big explosiveness, because that's the thing that wins the games. It's not the success rate, or else we'd see option teams all over the nation. And so the first series we're going to see is whether or not Khalil runs the ball. Because I don't think he's going to have the receivers to throw the ball. And if Hawaii just decides to stack the box, leave their cornerbacks that aren't good, they're not good, leave their cornerbacks on an island, if Khalil can find a way to dodge and juke, it's going to be a long day for Hawaii. But that's a big scenario based off of his 2018 numbers that's hard to believe. And so I could see a first half where Khalil wants to stay in this 2018 form. He wants to throw the ball. He hands J.J. Taylor twice. He does pretty well. He gets some first downs, but then he gets stopped. 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And then Hawaii, as I'll show later, is one of the best in teeing off. When they get in those passing downs, they rank in the top 40 in sack rate, in pressure rate, and if Khalil is focused on throwing the ball and building those skills, it's not going to be a fun first half for him, because I think he's going to get sacked. I think he's going to cause turnovers. I don't think it's going to turn out well for him. In terms of their defense, the one problem with their defense is that their defensive line is abysmal. Last year, they ranked on what you would consider to be blitz downs. So blitz downs is considered anything 2nd and 10 or longer, or 3rd and about 5 to 8 or longer. So those downs where they're going to pass the ball, that they need 5-step drops or 3-step drops in order to throw the ball, get it downfield, where typically a defense can tee off and get to the quarterback. And here, out of 130 teams, Arizona ranked 121st in success rate, as you can see here. So it's success rate, so that's how likely they stopped them from gaining half the yardage back. So they only did that 36% of the time. The big play rate was 12%, which ranks 125th in the nation. And their sack rate was 4%. Absolutely abysmal for a team that is supposed to get to the quarterback. And that's a big problem when you face Hawaii. Because as we go to Hawaii now, so Hawaii is in the classic Rainbow Warrior fashion. They are an all air it out team. All they want to do is pass the ball. So if you think about Colt Brennan many years ago, 50 touchdown seasons, absolutely dynamic, absolutely explosive, very fun to watch. And for the first time in about 5 years, Hawaii returns a starting quarterback. So Cole McDonald returns after posting pretty amazing numbers. So he posted 285 44 with a completion rate around 60%, 36 touchdowns, almost 4,000 yards, yards per completion about 14, and about yards per attempt 7.1. His marginal effectiveness was 6%, which is an amazing number, and he was fairly explosive with his passes down the field. One thing that really stands out for Hawaii is they usually have transfers. So people go to Hawaii kind of like they go to a junior college. They go for 1-2 years, enjoy the sunshine, and then they transfer to a bigger program. However, they've actually had a lot of returning talent. On defense, they return 9 starters. On offense, it's 10. So the only person that they lose is a big factor. They lost John Ursua, their main wide receiver, who had 150 targets last year. However, Cedric Byrd is back, Jojo Warder back, who have both got over 100 targets, and they just received from Cal via transfer Marcus Stovall, who is an absolute beast. 4-star recruit out of California, absolute monster. Definitely going to be able to put himself in the top 3 role. And they get Noah back from Kamuku Noah back from injury in 2018. He was an absolute stud in 2017. So from my perspective, they have 5 stud wide receivers on their team. They return their main running backs in Holly and Faruda. They don't run that much, but they still retain the talent. And they have Cole McDonald. So this is an offense that we saw put up strong amounts of points in their early stages. And that's where I also want to highlight, because Hawaii is a 6-hour flight from California. From the closest mainland spot that they can get, it's a 6-hour flight. So when they play these games at home, or they play these games early in the season, they have fresh legs. And as we saw last year and the year before that, when they have fresh legs, they're actually a really good team. They beat Colorado State last year by 9. Then they had Navy come home, beat them by 18. Went to Rice. Rice is not a good team, but still beat them. Then lost a close game to Army, who is an extremely good team, currently ranked in the top 25 after the continuity this year. They won on a winning streak until they kind of just ran out of steam. And so they had to go to BYU, and they had Nevada come, and it was just constantly back and forth from Honolulu to the States. And honestly, I take a 2-hour flight to New York, and I have to come back 2 days later, and I'm beat. So these guys are doing 7, 8-hour flights, constantly back and forth. It gets to your legs. You got school in the meantime. Honestly, it's not an easy thing to do. And they finished the season off very well after a bye week. So they got UNLV at home, beat them, and then they went to San Diego and beat an extremely good San Diego State defense. They scored 31 points on them. And that's really showing of what this offense can do. And so I think this offense is going to be an absolute stud. Where this team really sucks is the defense. So as you can see kind of below here in success rate, so the 5 main factors of college football analysis: efficiency, explosiveness, field position, finishing drives, and turnovers. So in efficiency, they rank very well on offense. Everything I've said in the last 5 minutes would show you that they would be a good offensive team. However, their defense was just abysmal. Ranking in one of the top 50, one of the worst 50 teams in pretty much every category. They gave up explosive plays nonstop. They were not really, they didn't really care what kind of big play they gave. They gave a lot of big plays to the run and the big plays to the pass. So there really was no strength of the defense. The one thing, like I said before, that they do have going for them is that they do return 9 starters on defense. And as we've seen in a lot of teams, as you gain more experience, you do get better, and you understand your group, and you can square around that. And the one place where they did do well was on. So they did pretty well on kind of the standard 1st and 10. They did pretty well at being able to hold teams to 3rd down. They usually got them to 3rd and short. And that's really where they're going to make their money this year, being able to finish those plays. If they can finish and they can hold them on 3rd and short enough times, they can get the ball back to their explosive offense and do good work. So, the other thing I would want to say about their defense is that, so coming from California, being a USC fan, and also going to high school in California, there are some big Pacific Islanders. And so Hawaii actually just got some JUCO transfers that are 310 pounds, 350 pounds that they can really just stuff up front. And I think that's going to actually do a really good job at stuffing J.J. Taylor in his tracks. So in conclusion, I kind of wanted to, I think personally that an 11-point spread is a wild overestimation of what these two teams are. I think the one downside in the way that Arizona blows out Hawaii, is if Khalil Tate decides to be a runner. If he runs the ball 20 times this game and they give J.J. Taylor 20 carries, it's over. They will blow them out. They'll score on every drive, probably. They'll return to what we expected 2018 to be under Kevin Sumlin, of this dynamic team that has a chance to compete for a Pac-12 South title. However, if Khalil Tate decides he still wants to improve his pocket passer, and they come into this game and he stands in that pocket and just lets the rush come to him without trying to escape the pocket, without trying to make big plays, it's not going to go well. And I think, so my bet for you guys to take is Hawaii plus 11. I'd also tell you guys to consider putting money on the money line. I think Hawaii shows up strong when it's given rest, and they've had about 9 months of rest. So, in conclusion, I kind of want to show you guys kind of where to find the Beat the Bookie page. And so if you guys go to dfsarmy.com and you guys log in, you can click this Beat the Bookie up on the top right. It'll take you to our landing page, and you can read about us, you can read about me, show some of the winners. And if you're interested in stuff like this, some content, some of our models, we're absolutely killing it. We have another coach, Brandon Loosemeister, who is currently 7-2 in preseason NFL betting. He just hit a big, he had a big day profiting in NFL DFS from his betting analysis. Anthony, our other coach, is a MLB and NHL superstar, great cash game theorist. He's a great person to talk to, great person to listen to, whether it's betting or DFS. Definitely people to talk to, people to listen to. And so if you're interested, you can hit this Get Started tab, and then you can sign up for the VIP membership if you hit sign up, and you go down to have a coupon, and coupon code you enter is DFSArmySB, and you'll get that for $20 off your purchase, as you see it just updated with the coupon. It's a great deal. We're all experts. We give you the models. We tell you the output. We tell you where the good value is on every single day. I currently have about 4 units of WNBA bets out for our members. That's been hitting about 55% on the season, coming from models. We love what we do, and we want to share and teach you guys as well. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are excited as I am for college football coming in 2 weeks.